Well, I'm TaLynn Kel, and I am here at Onyxcon, and right now I am with Ashleigh Davenport. All right, so Ashleigh, tell me a little bit about what it is that you do and your project.
All right. I am the creator writer behind Voodoo Legends. Currently, it is the first print run. Came from May, and it's been running online for about 3 years. So this is our second convention that we're here to do this for.
Oh, really? What was your first convention?
Onyxcon.
Oh, congratulations! How was that for you?
It was fun and hectic and a lot of coughing and.
Yeah. Oh, you got sick?
Yes, all of us got sick. There's just so many people.
That is very true. Usually that's what happens at cons. Are you doing Dragon Con?
Not this year. The tables sell out so fast. I wasn't able to get one.
Well, are you going to be attending Dragon Con?
Oh yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
So, tell me about the project. Like, what is a little bit about the story?
Okay. Well, it is a paranormal romance based in New Orleans. It's about a voodoo priestess, and she has to fight against people who want to use the dead for bad, and then the dead who want to use the living for bad. So she's basically in the between, keeping everybody in check. And she winds up helping a guy who actually had a demon attached to him, got him free, and now the demon is free to roam New Orleans, so she has to fight him.
Wow. Okay. So now I know you mentioned that you've been working on this project online for 3 years. Well, is that like from concept till like now, or when did you come up with the concept? How long have you been working on the concept?
Well, the concept came back in 2008. I started with first just a really short, sweet story about some voodoo priestess all dancing, and a demon comes and he falls in love with the main dancer. So then it expanded, and I had to go find an artist, finally get him to get everything ready, and he's so detailed. It takes him a while. So once I finally got above the 52 pages, I was finally able to go ahead and print it.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
That's impressive. 2008. Okay. So I'm guessing that the story is continuing.
Oh yes. We're working on issue number 3 now. This actually is holding issue 1 and 2. We just went on ahead and put it together.
Oh, okay.
So it's 52 pages, and hopefully it's a really good introduction and get you hooked.
So if someone wanted to purchase this, where would they go?
You can go to finalbeatcomics.com. That we do have the PDF available if you like to just get digital, or we can go ahead and send you one in the mail. They're so pretty, very local printing too. They're also here in Georgia, so we would love to promote that too, colorwise.
Okay, cool. Now, tell me about what's marketing been like for this project?
It's kind of hit and miss. I actually started going to college again so I can learn a little bit. Initially, I started off with an associate's degree, just business management, and then now it's like, no, you can't do that. You need to go ahead and do business management with some marketing, and I've learned a little bit about social media. I have to get a little bit better at it, but I do need a bigger team. I will say that.
Okay. So, like, what social media do you use?
Oh, Instagram, Facebook. Let's see, we had a whole list. What is it? Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter. Snapchat?
We have not done Snapchat, but my daughter has been telling me I need to get on there.
Yeah, I don't understand Snapchat.
We do have some coloring videos on YouTube, and we have a few in the other ones, Tumblr, DeviantArt. We got quite a few more, but those are usually our main ones that we try to update everything on.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I think that's all I have right now. I'm trying to think. I'm like, is there anything else? No, because you actually have a really complete project. And actually, I'm seeing now you have your book. Do you have a favorite piece that's been created for?
Oh, yes. I certainly do. My favorite.
We might have to actually lift up the book to show it or something.
No problem whatsoever. If I can get it to the right page. There we go. Absolute favorite. We just got it done. It's Baron Samedi and his wife, Man Bridget.
Wow.
It's super dark, but I like the dark.
I could tell. I was looking at the cover. I was like, She likes dark arts.
Oh yeah.
And are these available for sale on the website?
Oh yes, we do have the posters available and wallpapers. We're gonna have much more later because we're still trying to develop it, trying to make sure everything's good. But we do have, like I said, the comic, the posters, wallpapers, and some character designs are up there for you if you want to get some too.
Okay, cool.
And if you subscribe to Final Beat Comics, you can get some free artwork via Dropbox that I'll send to you.
Oh, now you hear that incentive? Sign up so you can get some free artwork. I'm all about the free.
I know that.
Like I totally expect to walk away with one of these books just for talking to you.
Absolutely.
I'm kidding. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You actually were a lot of fun. I say that like I'm surprised. I don't. Everybody's been fun. It's not supposed to actually be like that. You know, you're supposed to have at least one dud. I haven't had that happen yet.
Okay.
They're supposed to be.
Okay.
I think it's my sparkling personality.
It probably is.
Or it's
And
the
those
fangs.
awesome teeth. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure the fangs intimidate people to be like, she said I need to be fun, so I'm gonna be fun. All right. Hi, I'm TaLynn Kel, and I am here with the creators of Kids to Kings. Introduce yourselves. Your name is?
Manuel Goday.
And I'm Geiszel Goday.
It's very nice to meet you today. So what brings you to Onyxcon?
We're basically spreading the word on Kids to Kings, you know, trying to go and get some of our merchandise out there and show people some new stuff that's around the corner, you know, potentially get some patron backers, you know, because we like keeping our social media groups, you know, big.
So tell me about the Kids to Kings project.
Geiszel, maybe you can explain some of this.
Yes. Well, the Kids to King project is based off of mythology from ancient Egypt. So that's what we pretty much base our concept off of.
Yeah, and it follows the story of Asar. He's the prince of Kemet, and his grandfather is the current pharaoh. He's a very hard grandfather, and it's very good to see a child go through a more restrictive and aggressive background because, you know, as black people ourselves, you know, we actually go through this when we were young and we have a much harder time going through these things. But as you go through this journey with Asar, you'll see the growth and his potential and his ability to make great things happen, you know, and how we can all progress that way as well, you know.
So how did you develop the idea for this comic?
I'm just a giant geek, I'll tell you that the truth. I am one of the biggest geeks you'll see as far as mythology and history is concerned. So I take mythological stories like the stories of Kemet and I make them into like a video game type atmosphere where there's rules in place and things that can be very balanced so that when people hear of a Greek god, it's not a Greek god that's going to destroy the whole world instantly because that's what they did in mythology. I make it more reasonable so that we can have a great storyline with empires and nations going against each other.
But I mean, okay, so like you're the writer?
Yes.
Now, I'm just wondering, like, why did you decide, like, not to do a novel or, you know, something, another type of medium and actually do a comic?
Well, one of the reasons why me and my wife decided that we should go into a more drawn atmosphere and stuff is because we like to express things visually. People engage more, they get more excited about it, and when you're building a franchise from the ground up, you want to make sure that people really get engaged, they really go after it, and they see it for what it is. Our next play, and the reason why we have our art so dynamically drawn like this and so much detail, is because we're sending this directly to Amazon or Netflix or wherever one's going to bite the bullet, right? And try to get this series funded for actual anime. We want to move into that, and that's why we made it such a top-of-the-line product right now.
Okay. And so, I've already mentioned that you're the writer. What is your role with the team?
Well, my role is to assist him in any projects that he has to do, such as help him develop his concepts, writing ideas, stuff like that.
Okay. So, like editing and that kind
Marketing,
of...
definitely marketing.
Most definitely, yes.
Cool. So, I had one more question. Oh, okay. So let's talk about marketing because that was actually what I wanted to ask about. How long have you been working on this project?
I've been working on this project for about going on 2 years now with him.
So the whole project has
Yes.
been 2 years?
Yeah, the whole life of the project has been roughly about 2 years.
And you've done all of this?
Yeah, we've done the original Black Sand series. We also did the Kings to Kings series. We did a couple of videos on YouTube. We had a successful Kickstarter in March. A lot of your followers, they have literally donated to us themselves, had messages. We raised $18,000 at that time. We have 400,000 views on Facebook, and is our Instagram. We have about 30,000 followers now. You know, we've really had a lot of success over the last 2 years.
Yeah, apparently, because normally when I'm talking to people at conventions like this, they're telling me their projects are like 8 years, and they don't have half of what you've developed. So now I have to know your secret, because there's obviously something else going on here that got you guys where you are in 2 years.
Well, I think it's just my likability as a leader. I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, it sounds conceited, but I have a very, very, very expensive artist who's extremely good and works exclusively for me.
Okay, so
This is not something you get from.
okay, so what I'm hearing is that you have money
No.
to finance this. Like you were able to.
No, because we had to do a lot of plays to make the money, you know? And these people have to actually work without getting paid in order to make these plays in the first place. So once
Alright.
they got paid, they got their dough, but there are people trying to work, 3-4 months without getting paid, you know? So I have a person who's worked for me exclusively for a long time at the budget of from what he normally makes. And I also have a composer who is the best composer on Newgrounds, so he's like one of those internet sensation guys, but he makes all our music whenever I need it and stuff like that. I have a whole team of voice actors and stuff like that. So we've really done a lot of stuff for the limited amount of money that we have been bringing in.
And in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is an exceptional, this is the exception to the rule. I almost can't broadcast this because people are going to come out and be like, yeah, 2 years, I'm going to have 2 books and a bunch of posters and some motion video and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell that lie to y'all. No, that's impressive. No, seriously. I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
No, I understand. We're extremely lucky.
Because like I said, I'm shocked. 2 years. So, well, I wouldn't say congratulations on your hard work. I mean, it shows. I love the art. I'm going to be walking away with some of this. But it's gorgeous. I love the concept. And I love that it's actually geared towards kids. So, that's great.
And people like me.
And people like you.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. It doesn't have a real Dragon Ball Z feel for me right now, but I also didn't watch Dragon Ball. In fact, I told my spouse, right? I told him, I was like, so if you have a Pokeball and there's a dragon in it, is it a Dragon Ball? And he said, I'm taking your geek card back.
That's a good joke.
He was so mad at me though. I'm TaLynn Kel, and I am with
Rod Brown.
We are at Onyxcon 2017. So tell us what project you have today.
Projects, I have about 4 or 5 of them. Protectors of the Native Order is my flagship series, and I've been developing that for the last 3 years. I have about 6 issues of Protectors of the Native Order right now. I also have a complete graphic novel series of them called Mwanzo, which is Swahili for the origin. It's their origin story. Mm-hmm. Also have my 2 new series called G-Man and Sass out today, as well as my children's activity book for the little kids called The Indigos.
Wow, that is a lot of projects.
Yeah, I got them. Yeah.
So you're self-published?
Yes.
Okay. And so what made you decide to get into comics?
Basically, I've been doing it my whole life, and I've never seen anything that looked like us. So I wanted to talk about my experiences and try to teach kids, right from wrong, that type of thing. And it just became so much more. It became much more involved in that. And I just started from there. I just started creating stories. I love creating stories, and things that have a message or things that have, how would I solve a problem if I had these powers? And that's how Protectors of the Native Order came out. and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So from some of the stuff that you said, it sounds like you have some things that are focused on children and some that's focused on adults.
Correct. I have a little mixture. I have something for everybody. That's one of my mottos. I have something for everybody. I have a children's book. I have something for the ladies. I have an all-female superhero, an all-African-American female superhero duo comic book called Sass. I have something for the guys called G-Man, about the street kid.
So
now boys and girls can men and women can read any of them,
right?
But they always seem to gravitate towards one or the other, and I'm like, hey, they're all for everybody.
Now I got to ask you about this because you called it Sass.
It's called Sass. I use a lot of words that may be used for other connotations, and I turn it around and I use them for my own purposes in my own universe. So sass is not actually what we would consider sass. Sass is actually a level that you achieve by learning these mystical energies within your body. So that's what sass means in the native universe. Here we use sass for something else, but same thing with native. If you hear native, you might think of something primitive, but native to me means original. It means where we come from, where everything starts, where everything's derived from. So I take certain words all the time and I twist them to native comics benefit.
Gotcha. So if someone was interested in purchasing your work, where would they go?
If somebody was interested in purchasing my work, they can go to nativecomics.com. That's my main website, or they can go to most of the black bookstores in the country. I'm in about half of them right now, all the way from up in New York, New Jersey, South Carolina, DC, Tennessee, Florida. Here, we're trying to make our way west, but we're in a lot of black-owned bookstores in the country, as well as comic book shops scattered throughout.
How did you manage that?
I just called. I made relationships with them. I established relationships. We started getting a working rapport. You would be surprised how many black-owned bookstores and just comic book shops in general want to work with the independent publisher or independent distributor. You let them see what you have. You guys talk. You guys exchange ideas, and it starts from there. The black bookstore is the hub of the black community. They really are like the information center. They do more than just sell books. They have seminars, they do speeches, and these are really cool men and women who are down for the cause and want to promote black unity and just black economics and increase in positive business.
Well, I just find this interesting because I've heard that when it comes to comics, that you would have to order volume in order to be put into the big digital or the big print house, so that the larger comic book stores will order them. So how does that work for you? Are you printing these yourselves, or are you in that? How is that? How are you managing that?
I print them myself. The only reason why you would want to buy big is just so you don't lose money. When you put them in the stores. They don't require you, well, at least the ones that I talk to don't, they don't require you to buy a lot of comic books, but they do want to help get your book in the store. They really do. I buy them in bulk just because you save money when you put them in the store.
Okay.
I wouldn't put them in the stores if I was just buying them individually or anything like that. So that's the way you take advantage of it.
Well, it's not so much to take advantage of it. It's just I know there are stores that are straight up I won't buy it unless I can order it from the big comic warehouse.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're not maintaining inventory there, I guess that just means they don't carry your book.
I heard of that too before, and I got discouraged by even asking them. But one day I was just like, what the heck? Let me try. And the majority of the comic book stores that I've asked, I've put them in.
Okay.
And almost all of the black-owned bookstores that I've put them in, they welcome them with open arms.
Well, that's awesome to hear. That's actually very encouraging.
Yeah, it should be. I think a lot of people need to know that. We need to support our black-owned bookstores. We need to support our independent bookstores in general, as well as the small comic book shops, because they do want to work with us. We can build a community that way and keep our economics thriving the way we should.
Okay. Well, then I want to thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This has actually been awesome information that I didn't expect, so thank you for being able to share that.
No problem.